Last time on Gaming Through the Ages, I played Ghostbusters from 1990 on the Sega Genesis, which had me investigating ghost activity in a house that was strange enough as it was before the ghosts came in. Seriously, you literally had to jump across huge gaps in the ground to get around, and the lady that owned the place was stashing bags of money and bombs in her house. What is she, a bank robber? Overall though, the crazy house layout did make the game a little more interesting to navigate. Sometimes, if a game is too realistic, it can end up being boring. Anyway, on to the next game. Welcome to Gaming Through the Ages, the series where we take a look at games from many different genres and consoles through time, from 1975 to now in chronological order. Once we've reached modern times, we start back at 1975 and explore a different group of games. Viewers of this series were given the opportunity to pick any 1991 game made for the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or the Neo Geo. Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis got the most votes. In this game, we play as Sonic, who is on a mission to save some poor little animals from the evil Dr Robotnic, who is trying to imprison them in robots. Will we be able to save the animals, defeat Dr Robotnic, and also find some of the mysterious Chaos Emeralds? Keep watching to find out. We had a voice! An actual voice, but it was like in the title of a game, so it wasn't the game itself. Anyway, this is Sonic the Hedgehog. I can't say that Sonic here actually resembles what a real life hedgehog would be. I mean, he's blue, but whatever, I'm not going to be that picky. Anyway, let's start. Here we go. So we are on now Green Hill Act 1. So there's lots of zones in this game. Now this is the first zone, and then each zone has 3 acts in it, and there is a total of 6 zones that I know of anyway, unless there's some secret hidden things in the ROM that aren't even documented on the internet. So right now we are currently in the Green Hill Zone, Act 1. There's 3 acts in the Green Hill Zone, like all the other zones. Now in this game, it's a platformer a lot like Mario. So as you can see, I can... Oh, I love the physics here. Look at this. I'm on a hill, and if I just do a jump, see how I jumped backwards a bit because my feet were at a slight angle, so I kind of jumped back. And now if I stand on this one, which is kind of a downwards angle, I'm jumping forward. That attention to detail is just amazing. Those are some really good physics. Now, these rings I just collected, I've now got 3 rings. This is kind of like your life system. If you get hit by something, you lose your rings, then you want to quickly collect them again so you don't die. Now this is a crazy robotic ladybug. If I simply jump, I can kill him. A little bit like Super Mario, but in this game Sonic actually curls up into a ball and he spins around really, really fast, and when he does that spinning motion, that actually allows him to basically kill almost anything that touches him. So for example, here's a crazy thing, and because I wasn't spinning, it got me, but if I spin, I can kill it. Anyway, let's try and get through this level. Now the thing about Sonic is he can run really, really fast. I'm not really a person who likes to go really fast through things, so it's a challenge for me to try and do this. But there we go, see how it's like easier than Super Mario in the fact that you can just kind of... I'm talking about how easy it is when I get hit. In the way you just kind of jump. Stop it! In the way you just like kind of hit them. You can hit them at a sideways pace. Anyway, I'm going to try run through the level. Back when I was little, I actually saw this game. And it scared me because I liked Super Mario better than this because I just couldn't handle the speed that Sonic runs at. Like, look at this. I'm going to start running. Cool. The thing I like about this is there's so many kind of layers to this game. Like, the levels aren't just from one side to the other. You can just go basically anywhere. It's crazy. I mean, look at all this. There's like platforms at the top. You can really just explore, and there's no time limit from what I can see. So yeah, there we go. Now I've just finished Act 1. I had 43 rings. If I had 50 rings, there would have been like a giant gold ring there, and I would have been able to try and get something called a Chaos Emerald. If you can collect all 6 Chaos Emeralds in this game, you get the good ending. If you can't, then you get the bad ending. we're not really going to try and get the Chaos Emeralds, we're just going to try and see the game for what it is, the levels, the stages, just enjoy it, rather than trying to do everything perfectly. Now let's start talking about the graphics in this game. I love how you've got everything in the foreground, then you've got this, let me stand still for a sec, look at that tree there. The tree almost looks like it's made of polygons, like it's 3D, and it's just, it's cool. I love how the background, there's like 2 layers of scrolling backgrounds. You've got the trees kind of in the backgrounds, then you've got like another layer of, wait, I've got to run up to this one. Then you've got like another layer of mountain background behind that. It really, those 2, I think they're called parallax scrolling backgrounds. I really should look this up. Did I die? I've only got 2 lives now. The thing about this game that's really tricky is that if you lose your 3 lives, you start back at the beginning. So you really don't want to lose your lives. Always have at least 1 ring with you. But there I died because I fell off the screen, so that was really unfair. But yeah, I love these kind of multiple backgrounds. It really gives a sense of this being some kind of a 3D world as opposed to just a flat 2D world with nothing really happening in the background. It really adds detail to the game. The sound effects, I'm raged right now. That annoys me that you fall down that spike area and you're absolutely dead. Like there's no niceness, there's no being nice to you there. I'm gonna purposely die in this game now because with just 1 life I'm not really gonna get very far. So I may as well just kind of die now. Oh what? Why didn't that make me lose my rings? Time to die. Now don't get it. Ah, I got a ring back. No, I didn't want my rings back. Yeah, now get me again. No, stop getting my ring back. Okay. Here we go. Dead. 3 lives seems really, really dull. I feel like this game would have done it well with maybe 10 lives. But then, okay, I guess everyone would get to the end and it would be too easy. Anyway, let's try and speedrun this level. Just gonna keep trying to... Oh, I got infinity! It's like, it reminds me of Super Mario in the way that you can kind of find secrets. Like, I just found a secret in that tree just then. I'm back in Act 2 again. Look at those flowers, the way they kind of bob down and bob up. Like, these graphics are pretty good, but oh yes, infinity. No, I thought I was infinite. I always die at that same place. Oh, that is so annoying. You see, I got overconfident there because I'm thinking, oh yeah, infinity, so I can't die, I'll just run through the whole level and just be safe. But then, no, I'm not safe because of that silly fall. Okay, I'm gonna take this slow, and then, see, I go to take it slow and then I lose. Okay, let's take this really slow. We'll go over. This game has the added strategy of you've actually got to go fast at some points in the game to get places. Okay, let's do this slow. 1, 2. Don't you dare get me! Okay, good. 3. Because I don't want to die here again. I almost fell down. I'm so freaked out. Okay, is this the end of that scary bit? Yes, I think we got past that really hard part in Act 2 where you just die in a moment. Yes! Act 2 of Green Hill Zone is done. Now we're up to the last act of Green Hill Zone. I've never played Sonic, just so you guys know. This is literally a blind playthrough right now. Oh, I think that was an invincibility thing. It looks like I've got a shield of some kind, actually. The thing I love about this is the levels, there's so many different ways you can complete the levels. It looks like there's so much depth in this, and yeah, I find that really cool. Like, there's not just one... Have I got a super speed thing? Because I'm going... I think I picked up some weird... Yeah, it's gone now, but I had some super speed thing before. That was cool. Oh, what is this? Uh-oh, Dr. Robotnic. How did I know that jumping on him like that would actually hurt him? Duck, duck. if this is the boss, this is a bit too easy. I'm sure he's going to get harder later on. But I've got to admit, yeah, this is really easy. Ah, no, he's running away. Yes! I've saved some of the animals! Oh, was that Act 3? Come on, that was really easy. Marble Zone, Act 1, so we finally got into the next zone. Now, Sonic the Hedgehog is the pre-packaged game for the Sega Genesis. It wasn't initially the first one that was kind of packaged with it. It kind of became, because the Sega Genesis was released, we've been playing Sega Genesis games before 1991, which is when this game was released. So, it wasn't the first one, but it replaced what was the pre-packaged game at the time. Now, the funny thing about this is to know that this is what my parents were playing when they finished high school. It's really a strange feeling. What ended up happening is, back in Australia, which is where I'm from, it's called the... If my voice is a bit odd, it's not called If My Voice Is a Bit Odd. If my voice is a bit odd, it's because I've currently got a really sore throat, and I couldn't do this video. Then I took a strepsil, and it's made my throat numb enough to be able to make this video without being sore. So, if it's a bit off, that's why. Anyway, how do I know how to play this game? Have I played this game in a past life or something? I just seem to be doing stuff knowing where I'm going. Okay. Anyway, my parents used to play this game because... No, I've lost my rings! In Australia, it's called the Sega Mega Drive, and there was this deal back in the day, not when the Sega Mega Drive or Sega Genesis was brand new, not when it was first released, but if you got like phone books and you recycled them, on the last page of a phone book or something in Australia, you to encourage people to recycle, you take your phone book there, and you will win a Sega Genesis. This is when the Genesis was like maybe 3 years old, probably around the time I was born in 1994. And my mum, she really just... It's not because she really wanted a Sega Genesis, it's because she really likes to win stuff. So she just went in the competition, and she cheated actually. Because she lived in a block of units, she took all the phone books from the block of units and took them to a bunch of petrol, because that's where you take them to petrol stations or something, and then it gets picked out of a drawer, your name or something. So she put her name into like a bunch of phone books, then recycled them all, and then she ended up winning the Sega Genesis, or Sega Mega Drive as they called it in Australia, and she was like an expert at this game. And my dad sucked at it, but she was really good at it, so I think that's pretty funny. So it's just interesting to know kind of the backstory behind how my parents ended up playing this game. We don't have the Sega Genesis anymore. My parents are kind of like the if it's old, throw it away type people. I would have loved if they'd kept the original Sega Genesis, and then we could have kind of had a little look at it in this video, but unfortunately they don't. Oh crud, they didn't keep it. Oh, I've got to say, I've got to say, some of the dying in this game is absolutely unfair. I just died. I still had one ring because something squashed me. And I didn't even see it. It wasn't on screen or anything. I think I've reached my limits. I think I've reached my limits. I can't set limits. I think I've reached my limits with Sonic the Hedgehog right now. I mean, I find the dying in it a little bit too unfair. I mean, I feel overpowered overall in the game, but when you die from something that's unexpected that just smashes from the ceiling onto you and you've still got a ring, that's just unfair and you shouldn't have to die there. The graphics I'm pretty impressed with, but I've got to admit, I've kind of, once a console's been out for a while and you kind of get used to the graphics, like this 16-bit era, I'm starting to get used to now. So even though Sonic has fantastic graphics to some of the games we were playing before, it's kind of up there with Golden Axe and Ghostbusters, which we previously have played on the Sega Genesis. So I kind of feel, unless we move to like a new console that has 3D graphics or, you know, even better 2D graphics, I don't feel that the Sega Genesis is really going to impress us much more. I know you can get 3D games on the Genesis, but overall I just kind of feel like we've kind of experienced what the Genesis has to offer graphics wise, so we're not going to really be amazed that much in the future. But I've got to admit, I get to see some of the future zones here. The graphics do look very, very clean. But the thing I really did like most about this game, I think, was the physics engine. The fact that you kind of built up a lot of speed and that detail to the physics. Like if you're on a slight slope and you jump up, you actually jump backwards a bit or forwards a bit. I think that was pretty cool. This was one of the special stages, as you can see on the screen. And this is where you actually get the Chaos Emeralds. You kind of go through and there's an emerald there. And that's, we never got to that point though, because we didn't finish the level with 50 rings. But at least we get to see it in action here. But yeah, I just love the fact that you can run so fast. It's not like Mario where you're doing the level at a constant pace, like there's not really a build-up speed. Like Sonic can run really fast and that just adds to the thrill and jumping and physics of the game. Although I do admit, he kind of, when he starts walking, he does walk a bit too slow for my likings. Anyway, apart from the unfair dying where you've still got a ring system, this game is really, really good, and I can kind of see why people call it Sega's answer to Mario. It's kind of, Nintendo had their Mario, Sega had their Hedgehog. So yeah, pretty cool game, but time to move on. So where to next from here? The year in the next episode will be 1992, which introduced absolutely nothing. This year totally sucked, and anyone born in this year will now be hunted down so that I can absolutely nah, just kidding. 1992 did introduce many new games and a cheap monochrome handheld console called the Watara Supervision to compete against Nintendo's Game Boy. But as this was a handheld game console, we won't be checking it out until Phase 3 of Gaming Through the Ages. For the next episode, pick a game made in 1992 for the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or Neo Geo. I'll see you guys next time on Gaming Through the Ages.